Vulcan was the Roman god of fire and metalworking. He used to live in the sea, but one day he discovered fire on the shore and he was enchanted. He realized that with fire he could melt rocks and turn them into beautiful pieces of jewelry or terrible weapons of war. He was a lover and a fighter. He moved out of the sea and under Mount Etna in Italy, where he could focus on metalworking. Vulcan was usually calm, but sometimes would get angry and strike his hammer with fury and cause fire and smoke to explode from the top of Etna. Even today, Mount Etna is quite active and has seen volcanic eruptions throughout history. These days, we have a different explanation for volcanic processes. Magma is hot, liquefied rock, and it has a lower density than solid rock. So magma is always trying to break free from its solid rock ceiling. When magma finds a hole or weak spot in the Earth's crust, this is where volcanic eruption happens. The same process also occurs with pressurized groundwater, which erupts as steam. Most volcanic activity is like the metalworking of our Roman god, quiet and controlled under the Earth's crust. But the danger comes when we suddenly experience angry, explosive eruptions. So the ability to make accurate predictions about the timing and scale of volcanic activity is a major goal of the earth sciences. The Decades Volcano project is an attempt to address this concern. This project has identified 16 volcanoes that are the biggest threat to humans. It focuses on predicting eruptions in time for evacuation or other preventative measures. In recent decades, there has been success at well-monitored sites such as Mount Etna, there in Italy, as well as Sakurajima in Japan. But each volcano is unique and requires dedicated attention, so more funding is badly needed in poor countries. And unfortunately, there have still been tragedies at well-monitored sites in high-income countries, such as Mount Ontake in Japan. This surprise eruption in 2014 killed 57 people. Compared to earthquakes, however, volcanic eruptions are easier to predict and kill far fewer people. In fact, an earthquake often occurs just before eruptions, and that's because plate tectonics is a major trigger of both phenomena. Both are likely to take place where two or more large plates are in contact. Most of these plates actually meet under the oceans, so the majority of volcanic activity happens deep underwater, which is good for humans. The areas on land most affected by volcanism are situated along the Pacific Ring of Fire. This ring of fire is mostly created by pressures exerted by the Pacific Plate, which is the largest tectonic plate in the world. As time passes, the expelled magma, called lava after it reaches the surface, cools and builds up and can create islands or mountains. And this can be quick. I mean, major parts of Japan are only about 1 million years old, while the land that connects Sakurajima, one of those decade volcanoes, to the mainland is only 100 years old. So compare that to, say, the Sierra Nevadas in the United States, whose non-volcanic base was formed 150 million years ago. The scale is 4 orders of magnitude or 5 orders of magnitude different. Sections of the Andes Mountains in South America, so along the Pacific Rim, are also the results of relatively recent volcanic activity. The Hawaiian Islands are a famous exception to the rule of plate tectonic-induced volcanism. Located in the center of the Pacific Plate, these volcanic islands were created by a hot spot, one of those rare sections of weakness in the central part of a plate. The Big Island is less than 700,000 years old. It's just a baby. So when you hear that something is volcanic, it's not just a reference to the dangerous eruptions, but to a complex process that recycles and reuses our Earth.